Right now at 5, authorities in southeast Kansas issue a warning concerning a toll fee scam.
And roads considerably better this morning. Still might be a couple of slick spots. It's going to be considerably warmer today. While we look at forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, a school district in southeast Kansas asks voters to approve a bond issue to address safety and accessibility concerns.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It's Friday, finally Friday here in the 4 states, and it's Valentine's Day.
It is.
It's time, if you've got your sweetheart, hopefully you've done what you need to do. I haven't, but I told you why yesterday, because a lot of stuff I like to buy, it will probably die or be discovered
exactly
before.
Yes.
So I have to wait till the last minute because my wife is very smart. She knows hiding. She finds things even unintentionally, so I can't hide anything,
No, and like flowers, as fresh as you can get them on Valentine's Day especially is really nice.
Yes,
so.
And with the weather we've had, there's nowhere safe you can store them outside the house because it will either melt or freeze or die or all of the above. So today, guys, I think this really applies to guys because she said she bought me stuff. It's probably hidden already. I haven't seen anything. But for us guys, get out there, do what you need to do. It's going to be a great day to do it as well. It's going to be a little bit warmer, but we got to get there first. So let's start with a look outside, downtown Pittsburgh. See, there it is. And it is brought to you by a camera on top of a building at 4th and Broadway in downtown Pittsburgh. And you can see there's still some slush along the center line. So that's what I'm talking about. There's going to still be a few slick spots, but it's not going to be nearly as slick as it was yesterday. Thanks to the sunshine, we got a lot of thermal radiation in, so that just means the heat from the sun, even though our temperatures were low, heated up the pavement, heated up the concrete, heated up your houses, your roofs, and managed to get this stuff cleared out. A lot of steam coming off the roads yesterday. KDOT camera 69 East 520th Avenue. They have pointed it back to the north along 69. You can see even it looks tremendously better. And we mentioned Old 96 on the Kansas side around 100th Avenue to the four-way stop south of Crestline was like a sheet of ice. Today, fantastic. Looks great. Road crews got out there, finished what they needed to do, and we're looking pretty good this morning. On to the future track we go. Temperatures will warm, clouds will increase, winds will increase out there. We'll have a mix of mostly cloudy to cloudy skies today, but again, temperatures will be seasonably warm for majority of us out there, and we should be dry. It's not until tomorrow that we're going to see some precipitation chances out there. Still on the cold side, though, this morning, we've got upper teens and low 20s across the area. We've got, this could be just an odd temperature anomaly in the reporting stations, and I will check, but says Sedan and Independence are both at, it has to be because the wind chill in Independence is 2 degrees warmer than, it's got to be a temperature anomaly. But wind chills, though, still on the cold side as they're into the upper single digits and low teens out there this morning. So that does mean kids getting on the bus. I know a lot of folks, you're back to school today. You're going to want to bundle up. Low 20s, south winds around 5 to 10. And then with partly cloudy skies, clouds increasing, mostly cloudy. 44 when the bus brings them home. South winds now gusting upwards of 30. Ahead of those highs right around the mid to upper 40s for most of us, some low 40s out there as well. So otherwise, again, not too bad, increasing clouds and windy like that says. But it'll be even warmer tomorrow, ahead of it getting much colder tomorrow as well. Details on that here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. A Southeast Kansas School District has a plan for addressing safety and accessibility concerns. The Uniontown School District is asking voters to approve an upcoming bond issue. The $1.25 million bond project would make the elementary school doors accessible according to the Americans with Disabilities Act and replace their preschool building. And the bond would also pay for new fire alarms in the high school, replacing ones that don't have smoke detectors or alert first responders.
You have to invest in the things that are priorities for you, and I hope that people will continue to prioritize those aspects. I mean, the fire safety, the accessibility for those who have, exceptionalities, and then also our preschool programming. I feel like those are critical.
Now, past district staff say the bond would not increase taxes. This is because property values have increased faster than the district expected from a previous 2016 bond. There is now room to pay for the proposed bond issue without increasing the tax rate or extending the payment timeline. Voters will decide on the bond issue in a special election March 4th. The Pittsburgh Police Department wants to warn the public about a scam going around. Now, some people in the Pittsburgh area are receiving text messages indicating that they need to pay toll fines. There are also social media posts claiming the Kansas Turnpike is alerting people about unpaid toll fines. The Pittsburgh PD wants you to know that both of these are scams. Deputy Chief Ben Henderson says you shouldn't respond to the messages or posts. He also says people should avoid clicking these links and providing financial information.
Whatever organization is purporting to be themselves, like for example the Kansas Turnpike Authority, the Pittsburgh Police Department, the Crawford County Sheriff's Department, do your own research, pick up the phone, find a local number for that organization and call them directly and say, hey, I received this, I'm just curious, is this valid, is this real?
He recommends people call their local authorities if they've been a victim of a scam. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Missouri State University is celebrating more than $9 billion in private donations. Among other things, the money will be used to renovate the Greenwood Laboratory School, establish new scholarships and funds to others, and support MSU athletics. There were also gifts for the Department of Digital Fashion and Merchandising, the MSU Care Clinic, and the Bear Food Pantry.
The donations are significant. These are individuals that have given their time, talents, and their treasures, and it's anywhere from capital improvements to endowed scholarships to helping programs like the marching band or the Lady Bears basketball. But these gifts really are impacting people's lives.
The donations came from alumni, members of the community, and former board members, among others. Well, with today being Valentine's Day, have customers changed how they're buying due to inflation issues? KOAM's Lonnie Walton spoke with Sunkissed Floral and Greenhouse in Miami, Oklahoma, to see how sweet the holiday is to locals.
I had previously ordered these to have sent to Tanya at school.
Brian Waybright came to Sunkissed Floral and Greenhouse seeking flowers for his wife, who is a teacher, but he says school was canceled.
I wanted to surprise her with it in front of her peers, but I don't get to do that.
And he's not the only one buying flowers for his loved one.
Well, we've been married 55 years, and every day's been a good day with her.
Store owner Heather Hatley says this is what people have been doing all week long. Inflation doesn't mean anything when it comes to love.
It's amazing what people will spend at Valentine's Day. They add chocolates, balloons, they will spend a fortune on their kiddos.
Although this shop sells several different flowers, the biggest sale is, you probably guessed it,
Roses are always so popular.
Hatley says with all these flowers come some serious hours.
Pretty tired, and my daughter have been coming in at 3 in the morning, the last 3 mornings.
Hatley is doing this all for people like Brian and Scott, who say their wives mean the world to them.
All the support we get from her.
She's a great wife and a great mother and a great grandmother.
Happy Valentine's Day, Tanya. Love you.
Reporting in Miami, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Now, we reached out to more than 10 stores in the four-state area about an interview for the story, but most refused, saying they were simply too busy this time of year. Well, that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Pitt State women's basketball tries to win its 13th game in a row. We'll have the details. Plus, India's Prime Minister meets with President Donald Trump to talk about an energy partnership. And we have a warmer and windy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Once again, here in the four states, the majority of the high school sporting events scheduled for last night got postponed. Yes, classes were not in session with all that winter weather we had, but all 4 of our local college basketball teams were in action. The 5th-ranked Pitt State women were On the road at Missouri Western, they win their 13th game in a row, this time 77-62 over the Griffins, who were in first place in the MIAA's KPI standings. 4 different Gorillas finished the game with double-digit points. And the Gorilla men's team makes it a clean sweep of the Griffins last night. They win 71-61. Jeff Boshy's team has a winning streak of its own. This is their 4th consecutive victory. Balanced attack for PSU last night. 5 different Gorillas finished this one with 10 points or more. Missouri Southern basketball up in Maryville, taking on Northwest Missouri. Both Lions teams are fighting to make it into the MIAA tournament, and this loss certainly going to hurt the Lady Lions. They fall to Northwest Missouri 62-54. Southern is now 8-6 in conference play. This is a very winnable game. MSSU led at the end of 3 quarters, but gets outscored 18-9 in the 4th. However, the Missouri Southern men get a last-second victory, 69-67 over the Bearcats. Lion guard Jaden Taylor hits the game winner with just 3 seconds left in regulation. Finishes with a game-high 21 points. Missouri Southern baseball is 6 games into its 2025 season, and the Lions have had a couple of weather-related cancellations this week. MSSU jumps in this week's coaches poll. The Lions started the year ranked 11th, and they're now in the number 7 team in the country. Southern will brave the cold this afternoon for a home doubleheader against Drury at 2 and 5. There's one MIAA team ranked ahead of the Lions. That's Central Missouri in the number 4 spot. Wrapping up with a look at pro basketball, the Thunder are now riding a 7-game winning streak after Wednesday night's comeback victory against the Heat. Now, that winning streak comes to a halt last night. The Thunder lose 116-101 to the Timberwolves. Not the best showing from Oklahoma City star player Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Despite scoring 24 points, he shoots just 6 of 21 from the floor. The Thunder are now 44-10 on the season. They've got more than a week off because of the All-Star break. OKC doesn't play again until February the 21st. Still to come, a federal judge blocks an executive order aimed at stopping gender-affirming care for trans youth. Plus, get another check of that forecast and the roller coaster ride of temperatures and precip right after this. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:17 on this Friday morning, and it is going to be a fairly decent Friday, especially compared to what we've seen here lately. We've been well below normal for the past several days, and we've had the snow, of course, across the area. Today, not so much snow, probably get a fair amount of melting done. It will be mostly cloudy to just straight up cloudy, though, and it's going to be breezy. South winds gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour, so if you're traveling on any east-west highways or roadways, especially in high-profile vehicles, you want to keep that in mind. But today, otherwise, we are dry and we're going to be warmer. Most of us should be fairly close to average, which is the upper 40s. We still will have some low to mid 40s, but low to mid 40s is still considerably better than the low to mid teens and the other very cold temperatures we've been seeing. When we go overnight tonight, those clouds will really thicken up. That's an advantage we've talked about before, especially when it gets cold like this. The clouds act as a thermal blanket. They keep in some of that warmer air. So temperatures at this point aren't expected to fall too far tonight. We're talking upper 30s, low 40s overnight. So we're going to drop just a few degrees from our highs. Then we go into Saturday. Now we have a cold front that's going to push through. Yeah, I know. We need another one, but there is going to be another one. By about noon, it's going to start setting off some showers. Could have a thunderstorm or two, but again, I want to emphasize no severe weather in our area. Unfortunately, there's a severe threat in the deep south, and as I mentioned yesterday, this is their 3rd or 4th round of severe weather in the last week and a half. When we've had these colder bouts and everything, they've been getting severe weather. So this cold front starts pushing through by noon. Again, it starts to trigger off a few showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms, and you can see back behind it, temperatures do begin to drop, and those north winds kick in. So ahead of the front, south winds gusting upwards of about 30. Back behind it, north winds gusting about 30. Now, these will be scattered showers. Once we get behind the front, could have some flurries, maybe a brief period of light snow. So we're not expecting really much of anything in terms of accumulations with this activity, but Rain on the roadways, especially on bridges and overpasses, could freeze Saturday night into Sunday because temperatures are going to fall pretty far back into the teens and 20s as we head into Sunday morning. And then we're going to be colder on Sunday as well. Right now, and again, a bit of an anomaly on this map. It is not quite 8 in Independence or Sedan, but it is still cold. We're into the upper teens out there. So we've got upper teens and low 20s across the area. And we've got that south breeze already gradually starting to increase, and it will continue to do so through the morning. So our wind chills are back into the single digits and low to mid-teens out across the area. So by the way, the wind chills are correct for Sedan and Independence, just so you're aware. Those are correct. So, but it is nonetheless very cold. Kind of crazy. We are going to have a 20, 30 degree jump as we head into the afternoon. 25 to start, so mid-20s out there. Mostly cloudy skies. We'll make about the mid-30s by 11 o'clock this morning. Again, mostly cloudy to cloudy skies. We'll have south winds gusting to 30, and temperatures not bad. Upper 40s for most of us, maybe some low to mid 40s, but either way, paint it above freezing, and enough so that we'll probably get some good melting done. Clouds will thicken up through the evening and overnight, and as I mentioned, that kind of acts as that blanket. That'll slow down our temperature drop tonight, keeping us right about 40 and maybe a degree or two either side of that. South winds, though, still gusty, pushing 30 miles an hour. We go into tomorrow, again, some rain, eventually maybe a brief period of light snow, upper 40s, low 50s, then down into the teens, cold on Sunday. And I want to talk to you quickly about next Tuesday. Do you have a possible alert day? Looking at the data, going back almost 10 years, this does seem to be consistent with a system we got almost 10 years ago to the day, and it brought nearly a foot of snow at that point. It brought about 7 inches of snow. We're not sure exactly how much we're looking at yet. We're still far away, but at this point, the long-range data seems pretty consistent. We are looking at several inches of snow possible as we go into Tuesday, and then it's going to get bitterly cold after that. Let's check your forecast. We're back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, a federal judge blocked President Donald Trump's executive orders targeting health care for young transgender people. Judge Brendan Herson ruled Thursday that abruptly stopping gender-affirming care would be horribly dangerous. The decision effectively blocks Trump's order for at least 2 weeks. University of Virginia's health system said it would resume providing services that it paused under the executive order, but not every hospital is following suit. Well, this is one of many lawsuits that have been filed by individuals, advocacy groups, and state attorneys general. The Trump administration is expected to appeal the latest decision. Now, that will bring the matter one step closer to possibly being decided by the Supreme Court. And health experts are warning children are being exposed to marijuana ads on social media due to an illegal loophole which is enticing them to use substances. Now, under the Controlled Substances Act, it's illegal to advertise marijuana using federal airwaves or across state lines. But because businesses can make their own pages and post ads on their feeds, minors are bypassing age restrictions and seeing ads for products they're not legally able to buy. Researchers say social media engagement increases a child's likelihood to use marijuana, and they're calling on regulators to take action. Now, they say currently there's no way to stop these ads from spreading virally on social media. And a new study suggests what's in your mouth could be contributing to mental decline later in life. Scientists at the University of Exeter in England say the environment in your mouth that lets bacteria grow may cause loss of brain functioning, leading to dementia in later life. The researchers studied mouth bacteria of 220 patients. They found about half of them had mild cognitive impairment, which may increase someone's risk for dementia. The study says so far researchers have only made links of bacteria to cognitive health and not direct proof that some bacteria actually causes mental decline. We're continuing to cover the most intense flu season the U.S. has seen in 15 years. The latest data shows there have been around 13,000 deaths related to the virus, including at least 57 children who have died. Mandy Gaither talks to a doctor about the flu symptom red flags that should send you straight to the emergency room.
This flu season continues to worsen. Cases, hospitalizations, and deaths are all trending up, according to CDC data.
This is the most severe season that we've seen in terms of numbers of cases in about 15 years.
Dr. Daniel Kariskis with Brigham and Women's Hospital says symptoms of flu can include high fever, muscle aches, body pain, and headache. But he says if red flags are present, like a persistently high fever, shortness of breath, or difficulty breathing, it's time to get emergency help, as it may mean pneumonia is developing.
We don't think that the cases themselves are more severe, or that this strain is causing worse flu than in a typical season. It's just so much more frequent.
Kariskis says those at highest risk of getting severely sick are seniors and those with some pre-existing medical conditions like heart disease and lung disease. While flu cases typically peak in February, he says it's still not too late to get protection through vaccination.
Even if you've had flu earlier in the season, you should still get vaccinated, because there are two different types of flu that can circulate, and having one type doesn't protect you against the other. So get vaccinated if you haven't been.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
You can also help stop the spread of the flu virus by keeping hands and frequently touched surfaces clean, avoiding close contact with those who are sick, and not touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got another cold start to the day out there, but we will be warmer, the latest, when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, dozens of vendors head to Joplin for the 2025 Contractor Expo.
And we've got another cold start to the day, roads improving, and we will be warmer. Details in that forecast to get you out the door coming up.
Plus, Crowder College offers a free and unique way to enjoy the theater.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It's Friday. It's finally Friday, and it's Valentine's Day.
What a great way to start the weekend.
Yes, depends, I guess, on the situation. But I'm sure it's going to be, it is Friday. Regardless, folks, you know what? For those of you who are single, you can still celebrate the fact that today is Friday. And you can also, now listen, I absolutely love my wife, but being married does come with certain requirements. Responsibilities. Yeah. So if you are single, bear in mind, you also don't need to panic buy something at the last minute for somebody. You can watch everybody else do it. You can go to Walmart and just sit on a bench and just watch all these people out there. Oh, no, wait, I need that. It'd be like Black Friday, except for Valentine's Day.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
That's what you can do.
Go ahead and do that. Absolutely.
I think that's a good idea. Well, we are also going to be warmer today.
Yeah.
It's going to be not too terrible outside for Valentine's Day. If you got something planned, we're going to start with a look outside right now, though. So hopefully you didn't have early morning Valentine's Day plans, because it is too cold. All right, it's way too cold. We have slushy spots still in some locations out there. There are going to still be slick spots here and there, but otherwise, we're not going to be too bad. We're partly cloudy now. Eventually, we'll be straight up cloudy. KDOT camera 69 East 520th Avenue. And just for those of you wondering, they have pointed it back to the north, but regardless of which direction it's pointed, major improvements on roadways across the area out there. Looks fantastic. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline. Into the afternoon we go. Clouds increasing through the morning, and so we'll eventually be mostly cloudy to straight up cloudy. Temperatures will warm. We'll also have gusty south winds, but otherwise, not a bad day. We're going to be pretty close to average across the region. However, not near average at this point. Temperatures quite cold out there as we're sitting into the upper teens and low 20s across the region. And that looks like, again, there's a temperature anomaly on this map. Something's not right with the data for Sedan and Independence. And right now, that appears to be actually what was reported as the wind chill just moments ago. So I'm sure they're working on it, but it is, at least it feels like, is accurate. It does feel like 11 in Independence. Wind chills out there this morning, single digits and teens, and even some low 20s. Winds will increase, so this is going to make it feel a little chilly out there today. South breeze 5 to 10, 23, and partly cloudy when the kids get on the bus, and when that bus brings them back home, about 44, mostly cloudy, and those south winds gusting to 30. Again, clouds increasing through the morning, and eventually mostly cloudy to cloudy. Highs today right around the mid to upper 40s and some low to mid 40s out there as well. Rain chances increase as we head into our Saturday, and temperatures will drop tomorrow night. Details here in just a few more minutes.
All right, see you soon. Well, vendors from across Missouri and Arkansas made their way to Downstream Casino for the Joplin 2025 Contractor Expo. Now, close to 30 vendors were on hand to share details on product lines, talk projects, demonstrate new items, and more. The expo also served as a great way to network.
I know so many of the vendors, I know so many of the builders, all of the outside salesmen. So for me, it's almost like a chance to get to reconnect with everybody, especially because with COVID, we were not getting out as much as we did prior to. So this is just a great way to reconnect with everybody in the market.
The public was invited out to this free event, which also featured giveaways, prizes, and appetizers. Well, it wasn't exactly a live stage show in Neosho, Missouri last night, but it might have felt like it. Crowder College Theater kicked off its Thursdays at the Theater series. Now, people could gather at the LC Plaster Community Center on campus to watch a digital recording of a Broadway stage performance. Last night was a presentation of Cyrano de Bergerac, open to the public and free of charge.
Well, Crowder's here for us to have good education for those in a rural community, and here in the arts, we like to be able to share opportunities to experience the arts with people who may not have that opportunity outside of this area. So that's why we're I've been saying we're bringing Broadway to Neosho.
The next Thursday at the theater event will be a presentation of Anything Goes on March 27th. On May 1st, you can see Taming of the Shrew. Well, some athletes from Labette Community College visited Parsons Presbyterian Manor to brighten the day for some of the residents. 20 wrestlers walked down a catwalk, did a little dance, and gave every woman a rose. Now, for wrestlers, the event was a fun way to give something to the community.
I got here last year, I'm a sophomore, and Parsons is really just it feels like home, you know. It has a small town feeling, which I'm from a small town too, so giving back is always important. They give us a lot of support. They fill the stands at the duels, so we just have to give back to them because they show us a lot of support.
The Parsons Presbyterian Manor provides facilities for independent living, assisted living, and health services. Well, Wednesday's weather might have made a mess out of 4 state roads, but it provided a day off for kids of all ages to enjoy some winter fun. Now, whether it was building snowmen or taking in some high-speed sledding, some residents in Pittsburgh made the most of the day. Now, for one grandfather, the day meant spending some quality time with someone special.
A lot of fun. Got the granddaughter with me. Used to bring the kids here, so it's a lot of fun.
And keep those sleds out. The 4 state residents may soon have another snow day coming in the very near future. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOA Morning News. A car plowed into a crowd in Germany, injuring dozens of people, including children. Plus, Canada starts boosting its border security. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOA Morning News. Well, topping World Watch, President Trump and India's Prime Minister held a joint press conference yesterday at the White House. Now, Trump announced billions more in military sales to India, along with an energy partnership to export more U.S. oil and gas. Now, Trump says India is willing to work with him to reduce its trade deficit with the United States and renewed Americans' commitment to the safety and security of its South Asian ally. A Trump White House official says India is moving in the right direction on trade. Goods and services exchanged between India and the U.S. totaled around $190 billion in 2023, with a roughly $50 billion trade deficit in India's favor. Well, German police removed the car from the scene of an apparent attack in Munich, where a driver plowed into a labor union demonstration and injured at least 28 people. A 24-year-old Afghan asylum seeker was arrested at the scene yesterday. Bavaria's state interior minister said the man was known to authorities in connection with theft and drug offenses. Protesters from a workers' union were gathered on the street when the suspect drove into the crowd. Investigators believe the protest was likely a random target. The incident comes one day ahead of the Munich Security Conference, where heavy security will be in place as some of the world's top diplomats, including Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky and Vice President J.D. Vance, are expected to attend. Well, Canada is working to avoid President Trump's tariff threats by boosting border security. We got an up-close look at what officials to our north are doing to deter drug smuggling. Molly Lime reports from Ottawa.
Canada's new fentanyl czar is off to a busy start, touring a port of entry in Ontario, north of Watertown, New York. With the threat of Trump's tariffs looming, Canada is working hard to appease the American president's demands to address drug trafficking and security on the U.S.-Canadian border and ultimately avert a trade war.
Mr. Brousseau, what would you say to the American president, to Mr. Trump?
If I had the opportunity, I would say that this is a clear demonstration of how serious Canada is taking the fentanyl crisis in this country and how important our relationship is with our American counterparts.
The appointment of Kevin Brousseau as Canada's first ever fentanyl czar is part of a show of force. And while fentanyl smuggling from Canada into the U.S. is dwarfed by the illegal drug trade across the southern border, this former senior leader with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police has an ambitious aim.
Getting the number to zero is in fact a goal and should be our goal.
In October, a sophisticated drug super lab, the largest ever discovered in Canada, was busted in British Columbia. Canada's intelligence service is tracking more than 600 organized crime groups, aiming to dismantle transnational criminal networks, launching a Canada-U.S. Joint Strike Force. Canadian Minister of Public Safety, David McGuinty.
We're also moving to list criminal cartels under our criminal code as terrorist organizations. That's going to change the way with which we can deal with money flows, with laundering, following their cash.
Former U.S. State Department official David Asher, who led an anti-fentanyl task force under the first Trump administration, praised the move.
I mean, it'll improve our intelligence cooperation radically. And I suspect we'll start to bust networks together instead of, the U.S. carrying most of the water.
Interpol Washington and counterparts here in Ottawa signed a historic memorandum agreeing to collectively go after the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. And next week, Brousseau plans to head to Washington.
Oh, in Westport, Massachusetts, a well-known man with Down syndrome has an entrepreneurial spirit like no other. With the support of the community, he has painted and sold more than, looks like we're actually on the wrong thing right now. We're going to toss it over to a break.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 5:46 now on this finally Friday, Valentine's Day. Again, hopefully you've taken care of what you need to, or if you're like me, you're going to take care of it as soon as you get off work today, because you got to get something for that somebody special, unless you don't have somebody special. And you know what you do? You treat yourself. Because 15 years ago or so, when I was still single, I would treat myself. Okay, that's what you got to do too. Nothing wrong with that. And today's going to be a pretty good day to do it. We are looking at mostly cloudy to eventually just straight up cloudy skies as we head through today. Clouds will increase through the morning. Winds increasing as well, and so will the temperatures. We're looking at a very mild day out there. Well, seasonably mild, which will be nice because we have not been near normal for quite some time. Now, some good news is the cloud cover out there today, that will act as what we've talked about before, thermal blanket. It'll trap in some of that warmer air, so temperatures overnight tonight will not really drop that much from whatever our daytime highs are, and so we'll have an even better day tomorrow until we get into the afternoon. Then we get this cold front. Like, we really needed another one, but you know what? Here it is anyway, because I can't shoo it away. Believe me, the only thing I could think we could do is we all put a line of box fans out there and point them back to the northwest, but I don't think that's going to do it. It's still going to show up, still going to rain, maybe some thunder, no severe weather, anything like that, which is good news, but we could get a couple of rumbles of thunder. Cold front begins to push through. Now, ahead of it, it, gusty south winds. Behind it, gusty north winds. Now, depending on how much precipitation, how much moisture is left as the front passes through, we could get a brief period of some light snow, maybe some flurries across the area late Saturday evening into the overnight hours, at least briefly. Say between 9 and midnight is the best window for that, really. But no accumulating snowfall is really expected. Could get a dusting on grassy surfaces. The bigger concern is as temperatures drop Saturday night into Sunday, things could freeze. So rain could freeze, especially on bridges and overpasses. So you'll want to make sure if you're heading out Sunday morning that you are prepared for that possibility, because it's going to be very cold again as we head into Sunday afternoon. Take a look. We're only in the 20s across the area by Sunday at noon. Already pretty cold this morning, but we will warm up. That south wind will bring in some warmer temperatures. We got upper teens and low 20s across the region this morning. You factor in the wind, and it does feel a little bit colder out there. We're in the single digits in some locations. Most of us wind chills into the teens, so it's going to be bitterly cold to start. You definitely want to bundle up. We got 25 or at least the mid-20s to start our day. Mostly cloudy skies. Again, the clouds will increase pretty quickly this morning. Mid-30s by 11 a.m. South winds gusting upwards of 30 today and tonight and tomorrow before they switch out of the north. Mid to upper 40s for most of us for highs today. Right about 40 tonight. Upper 40s, low 50s tomorrow. Breezy. We got the rain and eventually maybe some light snow. Much colder Sunday. This is what I want to talk about real quick. We have that possible alert day for Tuesday because we're looking at snow. Some of this is looking fairly similar to a situation we had about a decade ago. We are looking at snow likely, and we are looking at least the possibility of several inches. Now, a lot could change between here and there. That's why we're not going with exact totals or trying to show you numbers, but it does look like we're going to see a pretty decent snow event come next Tuesday, and we'll have very cold air behind that to help that snow stick around for a little while. So we'll keep you updated through the weekend and as we head into the start of next week on that. That's Check Your Forecast. We'll be back with more right after that.
Now in Westport, Massachusetts, a well-known man with Down syndrome has an entrepreneurial spirit like no other. With the support of the community, he has painted and sold more than 1,000 birdhouses in the last 8 years. Samantha Reed has more on his inspiring story.
Almost every weekend like clockwork, 45-year-old Jared Corbett and his dad Bill spend time together painting birdhouses.
So we typically do it on a Sunday afternoon.
Jared is the overall artist. His dad helps with things like fine lines. And it all started several years ago when he decided to sell some at a local craft show.
So he's been doing this since 2017.
Where people showed a lot of love and then some.
And I swear that most people in town must have a birdhouse. And he's sold close to 1,000 birdhouses, which is, it just boggles the mind.
While Jared's been a master crafter of birdhouses for 8 years. For the last 23 years, he's been an employee of Lee's Market.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
And despite being born with Down syndrome, his coworkers will tell you he's as hard of a worker as anyone with a personality that'll sweep you off your feet.
He is the best guy. He is so great at his job. He is so confident, and he's like the unofficial mayor of Lee's Market. Everyone knows him and everyone loves him.
After learning about birdhouses by Jared, the store offered to stock some.
They were a huge hit, and ever since, it's been something that's sort of a fixture in our stores.
So on a weekly basis, he purchased them perfectly as customers come in for the item that flies off the shelf.
What do they say?
Do good.
Doing good?
Yeah.
The entrepreneurial opportunity provided to him is something his dad says has been life-changing.
This business has given him such self-esteem, it's amazing.
And for Jared, just like the birds he's hoping to service, the sky is the limit.
It's a sense of belonging. You know, he's part of what's going on over there, both in the community and the store, and you know, we couldn't be more proud.
So anything we can do to support him is huge. Everyone loves him, so we love to support Jared any way we can.
A birdhouse by Jared costs $19.99, and he's also planning to make a donation to the California fire victims. Stick around. We'll be right back. Well, Apple uses a mysterious approach to suggest a new product rollout. Apple is teasing a new product is coming February 19th. The company's CEO, Tim Cook, posted on his X account nothing but a shiny silver apple with a sort of halo effect. Cook's post didn't let on what the product might be, but there's already speculation that it could be an upgrade of the iPhone SE4, which hasn't been refreshed since 2022. New features could include an A18 chip to help manage Apple Intelligence. Well, health experts are reminding single people that Valentine's Day isn't just for romantic love, but self-love as well. Psychologist Susan Albers with Cleveland Clinic says single people can take the pressure off of Valentine's Day by embracing self-love and treating themselves to a personal gift. Valentine's Day is about love, which comes in all forms. Dr. Albers says those who are single can consider making plans with loved ones. No matter where the day leads, she says it's important to remind yourself that your self-worth is not tied to a relationship status.
Exactly what I was just saying a few minutes ago. For those that are single, you don't need to worry, all right? Sometimes you got to just sit back, relax, and realize it's not that bad. But like I said, I also am happily married. I want people to understand this is not me complaining. I love my wife. I love my kids. I am fine with the relationship that I do have. I love it. But it's also okay to not have one right now. Mostly cloudy skies through the day. Mid-20s to start, mid-30s by 11 a.m. Ahead of highs, a lot closer to normal as we go mid-upper 40s. It'll be cloudy. It'll be breezy. South winds gusting to 30. Those gusty winds continue overnight, but with the clouds thickening up, that slows down that temperature drop. We eventually reach right about 40, maybe a degree or two on either side of that. Tomorrow, upper 40s, low 50s, gusty south winds ahead of a cold front. North winds behind that front, of course. Rain, maybe a little bit of light snow, nothing major out of that, but could get some icy spots on bridges and overpasses. Colder Sunday, possible alert day Tuesday, as we're keeping an eye on some additional accumulating snow chances. That's checking your forecast. We're back with more right after this.